What if everything we thought we knew about the pyramids of Giza was only half the story? For centuries, archaeologists have studied every visible stone, passageway, and chamber of Egypt's most famous monuments. Yet a controversial new claim suggests the greatest secret of Giza may not stand above the desert at all. It may lie hidden far below it. In 2025, researchers announced radar scans revealing what they believe could be a vast underground network beneath the pyramids. Massive shafts descending hundreds of meters into the earth. Giant chambers unlike anything previously documented. Hidden corridors, possible water systems, and perhaps clues connected to one of history's most enduring legends, the mysterious Hall of Records. But are these discoveries real? Or are we witnessing one of the most debated archaeological controversies of the modern era? Tonight, we journey beneath the sands of Giza to separate fact from speculation and explore a mystery that could either rewrite history or become one of archaeology's greatest misconceptions. The story began not with an excavation, but with technology. In March 2025, an international team of researchers announced findings that immediately captured global attention. Rather than digging beneath the Giza Plateau, they employed synthetic aperture radar, commonly known as SAR, an advanced imaging technology capable of detecting variations beneath the Earth's surface. Their objective was straightforward: examine whether hidden structures might exist beneath one of the most studied archaeological sites on Earth. What they reported was extraordinary. According to the researchers, radar data revealed patterns that appeared highly organized and geometric. These were not random anomalies scattered through the bedrock. Instead, the images seemed to indicate a coordinated network of underground features extending beneath portions of the plateau. Among the most startling claims were 8 enormous vertical shafts descending more than 100 feet beneath the surface. If accurate, these structures would reach depths approaching twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. The team also reported evidence of large cube-shaped chambers measuring roughly 80 meters across. Such dimensions would place them among the largest underground spaces ever associated with the Giza complex. Even more intriguing were indications of connecting corridors and additional interconnected structures, suggesting that these features might not exist independently, but as part of a much larger underground system. For supporters of the discovery, the implications were staggering. Could the pyramids be only the visible portion of a far larger architectural complex? Could ancient builders have created an underground world designed for purposes still unknown today? Or might these patterns represent something entirely different, a natural geological formation that merely resembles human construction? Almost immediately, excitement spread across social media, news outlets, and history communities around the world. Some hailed the findings as a breakthrough that could transform our understanding of ancient Egypt. Others urged caution, because while the claims were dramatic, one critical fact remained impossible to ignore. No one had physically entered these alleged chambers. Everything rested upon the interpretation of radar data, and that distinction would soon ignite one of the fiercest debates in modern archaeology. As researchers continued analyzing the radar imagery, the mystery only deepened. What initially appeared to be isolated anomalies gradually began forming a larger picture. The deeper scientists examined the data, the more the underground features seemed connected, almost as if they were pieces of a carefully designed blueprint hidden beneath the desert floor. At the center of the claims were the 8 massive vertical shafts. According to the radar interpretations, these cylindrical structures descended more than 2,100 feet into the earth. Their reported depth alone was enough to astonish experts and enthusiasts alike. Structures of this scale had never been documented beneath the Giza Plateau. But it wasn't simply their size that attracted attention. Researchers pointed to what appeared to be remarkable consistency in their shape and alignment. Rather than looking like natural fractures or geological faults, the shafts seemed unusually uniform. If the interpretation proves correct, It would suggest deliberate engineering rather than random geological activity. Then came an even more intriguing detail. Around portions of these shafts, researchers identified formations that appeared to spiral downward. As imaging data became more refined, some members of the team proposed that these features could represent enormous spiral staircases wrapping around the shafts themselves. The implication was extraordinary. Staircases imply movement. Movement implies access. And access suggests that someone, at some point, may have intended these depths to be reached. If such stairways truly existed, they could have allowed individuals to descend hundreds of meters below the surface, into spaces completely hidden from the world above. At the base of several shafts, the radar data appeared to reveal something even larger. Massive cube-shaped chambers. These alleged chambers were estimated to measure approximately 80 meters on each side. To appreciate the scale, imagine a structure nearly the size of a moss city block carved deep into the bedrock beneath one of the world's most famous archaeological sites. Researchers describe these spaces as unusually geometric, with boundaries that appeared strikingly regular when viewed through radar imagery. The possibility immediately sparked debate. Could these have been ceremonial halls, hidden storage complexes, ancient engineering facilities, or perhaps something entirely different that modern archaeology has yet to recognize? The discoveries did not stop there. Surrounding the main shafts and chambers, the team reported evidence of additional interconnected structures. Some appeared stacked across multiple levels. Others seemed connected through corridors and passageways, extending beneath different portions of the plateau. Taken together, the images suggested not a single room or tunnel, but a network, a system, a layout that appeared organized rather than random. For some observers, this raised a provocative question. What if the monuments visible on the surface represented only part of a much larger design? The pyramids, temples, and causeways of Giza have long been admired as masterpieces of ancient engineering. But if a corresponding underground infrastructure truly exists, it could indicate that ancient planners envisioned the plateau as a multi-layered complex rather than a collection of separate monuments. Above ground stood the structures known to history. Below ground, if the claims prove accurate, may lie a hidden world that remained untouched for thousands of years. Yet despite the excitement, one unavoidable reality remained. No excavation had confirmed these features. No explorers had entered the alleged chambers. No artifacts had been recovered. Everything still depended on radar interpretations that many experts considered far from conclusive. And that uncertainty would soon fuel an even greater mystery, one involving flowing water beneath one of the driest landscapes on Earth. As astonishing as the reported shafts and chambers were, another element hidden within the radar data may be even more intriguing. Water, beneath one of the driest landscapes on Earth. Researchers believe they may have identified traces of an ancient underground water network woven throughout the alleged subterranean complex. At first glance, the patterns appeared subtle, narrow channels, linear pathways, features that didn't seem to match stairways, walls, or structural supports. But as the data was examined more closely, some researchers began proposing a remarkable possibility. These formations might represent engineered water channels connecting different sections of the underground system. If true, the implications could be enormous. Several of the reported channels appeared to link major underground features, including the massive shafts, large chambers, and interconnected corridors. Rather than existing as isolated structures, the entire network seemed connected by pathways that may once have carried water through the depths of the plateau. Why would such a system be necessary? One explanation is purely practical. Ancient Egypt depended on water for survival. The Nile River served as the lifeblood of the civilization, supporting agriculture, transportation, trade, and daily life. Some historians have long suggested that sophisticated water management played a significant role in large-scale construction projects throughout Egyptian history. If underground channels once existed beneath Giza, They may have helped transport resources, regulate temperatures, or support activities hidden from the surface world. But practicality may tell only part of the story. To understand why water is so important in this mystery, it's necessary to understand its place in ancient Egyptian belief. In Egyptian creation mythology, existence began within a vast primordial ocean known as Nun. Before the gods, before the earth, before the sky itself, there was only water stretching endlessly into darkness. From these waters emerged the first land. From that land emerged creation. Water was not simply a resource, it represented the origin of life itself. This symbolic significance has led some researchers and historians to wonder whether water may have played a ceremonial role within any underground structures that once existed beneath Giza. Imagine descending through a winding passage illuminated only by flickering torchlight. The air grows cooler. The sound of flowing water echoes through stone corridors. Far below the surface, hidden chambers emerge from darkness. Whether real or imagined, such a setting aligns remarkably well with ancient concepts of transformation, rebirth, and the journey into the afterlife. Some theorists suggest that if these underground spaces existed, they may have been designed to mirror the mythical journey through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld where souls faced trials before achieving rebirth. Others point to another fascinating possibility. Acoustics. Throughout the ancient world, certain sacred sites appear to have been intentionally designed to manipulate sound. Temples, underground chambers, and ceremonial spaces often amplify echoes or create unusual resonances that enhance spiritual experiences. If water once flowed through portions of the alleged Giza network, it could have created natural vibrations, echoes, and low-frequency sounds throughout the underground spaces. Such effects may have transformed ordinary chambers into environments that felt supernatural to those who entered them. Of course, all of this remains highly speculative. No direct evidence has yet confirmed that water flowed through these reported channels. Researchers have not recovered sediments, mineral deposits, or physical samples proving the existence of an engineered hydraulic system. Yet the possibility remains compelling, because if future investigations uncover signs of ancient water flow, those traces could become one of the most valuable clues in the entire mystery. Water leaves evidence behind: mineral deposits, erosion patterns, chemical signatures, sediment layers. Unlike legends, water can be tested. And if those traces are ever found beneath Giza, they may reveal not only whether this underground network existed, but perhaps when it was built and how it was used. For now, the water remains invisible, silent, hidden beneath layers of stone and sand. But if these channels are real, they may carry the first tangible clues toward understanding a secret buried for thousands of years. And for many researchers, that possibility leads directly to one of the most controversial theories ever connected to the pyramids. Every great mystery eventually attracts a legend, and few legends connected to the pyramids of Giza are as enduring, controversial, or captivating as the story of the Hall of Records. For generations, treasure hunters, mystics, historians, and archaeologists have debated whether a hidden archive might exist somewhere beneath the sands of Egypt. According to the legend, the Hall of Records is not merely a hidden chamber. It is said to be a vast repository of knowledge containing the history of lost civilizations, forgotten sciences, astronomical records, spiritual teachings, and perhaps even answers to questions humanity has not yet learned to ask. Some versions of the story place it beneath the Great Pyramid, others claim it lies beneath the Sphinx. But almost every variation shares one central idea: somewhere beneath Giza, a secret archive waits to be discovered. The modern fascination with the Hall of Records can largely be traced to Edgar Cayce, an American mystic often referred to as the Sleeping Prophet. In the early 20th century, Cayce claimed that survivors of Atlantis preserved their knowledge before their civilization disappeared. According to his visions, this information was hidden in a chamber beneath Egypt and would eventually be uncovered during a future era of human awakening. Mainstream historians have never accepted these claims as historical evidence. There is no verified proof that Atlantis existed. There is no archaeological evidence confirming the existence of the Hall of Records. And yet, the story has refused to disappear. Why? Because Giza itself continues to inspire questions. The pyramids remain among the most astonishing structures ever built. Their precision, scale, and alignment continue to amaze engineers and researchers alike. Every generation uncovers new details, new chambers, new anomalies, and new puzzles. The Hall of Records survives because it represents something deeper than a physical location. It symbolizes the possibility that history is incomplete, that somewhere beneath the surface of what we know, entire chapters of the human story remain hidden. This is why the recent underground claims generated such intense excitement. When researchers announced the discovery of deep geometric structures, enormous chambers, and interconnected corridors beneath Giza, many immediately drew connections to the ancient legend. Could these chambers be the very spaces described in the stories? Could hidden rooms beneath the plateau contain artifacts untouched for thousands of years? Could ancient texts, records, or knowledge systems still survive in sealed environments far below the surface? At present, there is no evidence supporting such conclusions. No chamber has been entered. No artifacts have been recovered. No inscriptions have been documented. But the possibility alone has reignited a debate that has lasted for decades. Interestingly, some scholars suggest that even if a Hall of Records were eventually discovered, it would likely look very different from popular imagination. Rather than shelves of golden scrolls or Atlantean technology, it might contain administrative records, religious texts, burial inventories, or documents that reveal ordinary details about ancient life. And yet, those discoveries could be just as revolutionary. Sometimes the greatest historical breakthroughs are not the ones that confirm legends. They are the ones that reveal truths nobody expected. For now, the Hall of Records remains exactly what it has always been: a mystery, a possibility, a story balanced somewhere between archaeology and mythology. But while the public became fascinated by visions of hidden libraries and lost civilizations, many scientists were asking a much more important question: can any of these extraordinary claims actually be proven? That question would soon spark a fierce backlash from experts around the world and transform this discovery into one of the most controversial archaeological debates of recent years. Extraordinary discoveries often generate excitement, but in science, excitement alone is never enough. And almost as quickly as the claims of a vast underground network beneath Giza spread across the world, a wave of skepticism followed. For many archaeologists and researchers, the issue wasn't whether hidden structures beneath the plateau were possible. The issue was whether the evidence presented was strong enough to support such extraordinary conclusions. Leading the criticisms was one of Egypt's most recognizable archaeologists, Dr. Zahi Hawass. For decades, Hawass has been closely associated with major discoveries throughout Egypt and has played a central role in protecting and studying the nation's archaeological heritage. His response was direct. He dismissed the claims as lacking scientific credibility and argued that there was no reliable evidence proving the existence of the alleged underground city. According to Hawass, no authorized excavation or official mission had verified the structures being described. Without physical confirmation, he maintained that the claims remained speculation rather than established fact. His criticism quickly attracted international attention. Supporters of the discovery accused critics of being too dismissive. Critics argued they were simply following the scientific method. And that distinction lies at the heart of the controversy. Science does not operate on possibilities alone. It operates on evidence. Another major challenge came from experts specializing in radar technology itself. Among them was Professor Lawrence Conyers, a respected authority in archaeological remote sensing. Conyers questioned whether current radar systems could reliably identify structures at the extreme depths being claimed by the research team. Detecting shallow subsurface features is one thing. Identifying enormous architectural complexes, hundreds of meters below ground, is another entirely. According to Conyers, the interpretation of the radar data may have gone far beyond what the technology can confidently support. His concern was not necessarily that anomalies were absent. Rather, it was that the conclusions being drawn from those anomalies may have exceeded the available evidence. And then there was perhaps the most significant issue of all: peer review. Within the scientific community, peer review serves as one of the most important safeguards against error. Before extraordinary findings become accepted, independent experts must evaluate the methods, analyze the data, challenge assumptions, and attempt to identify flaws. This process is often slow, sometimes frustratingly slow, but it exists for a reason. History is filled with discoveries that initially appeared groundbreaking, only to collapse under closer examination. At the time these claims emerged, the findings had not undergone full peer-reviewed validation. As a result, many researchers remained cautious, not because they feared the discovery might be true, but because they needed stronger evidence before accepting it. There was another factor contributing to the controversy. Some of the visual reconstructions shown to the public were artistic renderings and AI-generated illustrations, based on interpretations of the radar data. While visually impressive, these images created a powerful impression that the underground structures had already been confirmed. In reality, the images represented hypotheses rather than verified architectural plans. For many viewers, the distinction became blurred. And once dramatic images begin circulating online, speculation often spreads much faster than scientific analysis. Yet supporters of the research continue to argue that skepticisms should not become dismissal. History contains numerous examples of discoveries that were initially ridiculed before eventually being accepted. Ancient Troy, Machu Picchu, the Dead Sea Scrolls, many breakthroughs faced resistance before evidence accumulated. The question, therefore, is not whether skepticism is appropriate. It absolutely is. The question is whether future investigations will strengthen or weaken the current claims. At this moment, both possibilities remain open. Perhaps future studies will reveal that the radar interpretations were mistaken. Perhaps geological formations created patterns that appeared artificial. Or perhaps additional research will uncover evidence that transforms one of the most controversial archaeological claims of the century into one of its greatest discoveries. For now, the debate remains unresolved. Between believers and skeptics, between possibility and proof, between mystery and evidence. And as the controversy continues, attention returns once again to the Giza Plateau itself. Because regardless of whether these new claims survive scientific scrutiny, one undeniable fact remains. The pyramids still guard secrets, some confirmed, many unanswered, and a few so strange that even after centuries of study, they continue to challenge everything we think we know. Whether the newly claimed underground structures prove real or not, one fact remains undeniable. Giza has never fully surrendered its secrets. For more than 2 centuries, archaeologists, engineers, historians, and explorers have investigated the plateau. They have mapped chambers, excavated tombs, scanned monuments, and analyzed countless artifacts. Yet some of the site's greatest mysteries remain unresolved. And perhaps nowhere is that more apparent than inside the Great Pyramid itself. In 2017, the International Scan Pyramids Project announced a remarkable discovery. Using a technique known as muon radiography, scientists detected a massive hidden void located above the Grand Gallery inside the Great Pyramid. Unlike traditional excavation methods, muon scanning uses naturally occurring cosmic particles to peer through solid stone. The results revealed a previously unknown cavity large enough to attract worldwide attention. Today, years later, researchers still debate its purpose. Was it a structural feature designed to reduce pressure inside the pyramid, a hidden chamber waiting to be explored, or something entirely different? No definitive answer has emerged. The discovery serves as a powerful reminder that even within the most studied monument on Earth, hidden spaces can still exist. Then there is the enigmatic subterranean chamber, located deep beneath the Great Pyramid. This chamber is one of the strangest spaces ever discovered within the structure. Unlike the King's Chamber or Queen's Chamber, which display remarkable precision and craftsmanship, the subterranean chamber appears rough, unfinished, and almost primitive by comparison. Its walls are irregular, its design seems incomplete, and its intended purpose remains uncertain. Some archaeologists believe it was part of an early construction plan that was later abandoned as the pyramid's design evolved. Others propose a more symbolic explanation. In ancient Egyptian belief, the underworld, known as the Duat, existed beneath the earth. It was a realm associated with transformation, judgment, and rebirth. Could the chamber have served a ceremonial role connected to these beliefs? No one knows for certain, and that uncertainty has fueled decades of debate. Adding to the intrigue is the fact that many sections of the pyramid remain inaccessible or only partially explored. Tiny shafts extend from hidden chambers. Unexplained cavities appear in scan data. Architectural features continue to puzzle researchers despite generations of study. Every time scientists believe they have solved one mystery, another seems to emerge. This is precisely why claims of newly discovered underground structures generate such enormous interest. The public is not fascinated merely because the story is dramatic. People are fascinated because Giza has repeatedly demonstrated that surprises are still possible. The plateau has a long history of revealing unexpected discoveries. High tombs, previously unknown chambers. Buried structures, ancient pathways. Each generation uncovers something the previous generation missed. That reality creates an intriguing dilemma. On one hand, skepticism is essential. Extraordinary claims must be supported by extraordinary evidence. On the other hand, history teaches us that dismissing every anomaly simply because it sounds improbable can also be a mistake. Many discoveries that are now accepted once sounded impossible. The challenge is determining which mysteries point toward genuine breakthroughs, and which are simply misunderstandings waiting to be corrected. At Giza, that line is often difficult to see, because the plateau occupies a unique place in human history. It stands at the intersection of archaeology and legend, science and mythology, evidence and imagination. Perhaps that is why it continues to captivate the world. The pyramids are not merely ancient monuments. They are symbols of unanswered questions. And as long as those questions remain, every new anomaly, every unexplained chamber, and every mysterious scan will continue to spark curiosity, because beneath the stone, beneath the sand, and beneath thousands of years of history, there may still be stories waiting to be uncovered. Stories that could reshape our understanding of one of humanity's greatest achievements. Or perhaps reveal that the greatest mystery was never what was hidden beneath Giza, but why we remain so determined to keep searching. So where does this leave us? After examining the claims, the technology, the legends, and the scientific criticism, we arrive at a conclusion that is both frustrating and fascinating. The truth is that no one knows. At least not yet. On one side stand the researchers who believe they have identified something extraordinary beneath the Giza plateau. Their radar data appears to show immense shafts, geometric chambers, interconnected corridors, and possible water systems hidden far below the surface. If their interpretation is correct, the implications would be historic. It would mean that one of humanity's most studied archaeological landscapes still conceals an enormous secret. A secret capable of transforming our understanding of ancient Egyptian engineering, architecture, and perhaps even the purpose of the pyramid complex itself. On the other side stand archaeologists, radar specialists, and historians urging caution. They remind us that extraordinary discoveries cannot be established through exciting images alone. Radar data must be verified. Interpretations must be tested. Claim must survive peer review. And until physical evidence is obtained, skepticism remains not only reasonable but necessary. Both sides present arguments worth considering. History has repeatedly shown that major discoveries often begin as controversial ideas. Yet history has also shown that many sensational claims eventually collapse when subjected to careful examination. At this moment, the alleged underground complex beneath Giza exists in a unique space. It is neither confirmed fact nor proven fiction. It is a possibility, a question waiting for an answer. And perhaps that uncertainty is what makes the story so compelling. Because beneath every great archaeological discovery lies a period of doubt. A moment when evidence is incomplete, when competing theories clash, when the world waits to see which interpretation survives. Whether these structures prove to be a revolutionary discovery, a geological misunderstanding, or something in between, they have already accomplished something remarkable. They have forced us to look at Giza again, not as a solved mystery, not as a finished chapter of history, but as a place that may still have secrets left to reveal. For thousands of years, the pyramids have stood against desert winds, political upheaval, invasions, and the passage of time itself. Entire civilizations have risen and fallen while they remained. And through it all, they have continued to ask questions that no generation has fully answered. Who built them? How were they constructed with such precision? What knowledge has been lost? And most importantly, what still lies hidden beneath the sands? Perhaps future excavations will uncover nothing unusual. Perhaps they will reveal evidence far stranger than anyone currently imagines. Until then, the mystery remains alive, waiting silent beneath the desert, just as it has for thousands of years. The story of Giza has never truly been about stone. It has always been about curiosity. Every generation inherits these monuments and asks the same questions that fascinated explorers, scholars, and dreamers centuries ago. And despite all our technology, all our research, and all our discoveries, the pyramids still refuse to give up every answer. Whether the alleged underground structures are ultimately proven real or not, one thing is certain. The search itself reminds us that history is never completely finished. There are always new clues to uncover, new evidence to examine, and new mysteries waiting just beyond the limits of what we currently know. If you enjoyed this journey into one of archaeology's most controversial mysteries, be sure to subscribe and join us for future explorations into ancient civilizations, lost discoveries, and the unanswered questions that continue to shape our understanding of the past. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this community. And remember, sometimes the greatest discoveries are not the answers we find. They are the questions that inspire us to keep looking deeper. Until next time.